Hello everyone, welcome to another Alpha Strike We Play video, and in this one we're going to be showing you what it's like to sort of design a scenario of your own. Swoosh us in.
Swoosh.
So we have here a table laid out with a custom, identical on both sides, what do they call it, symmetrical? Symmetrical, yep. It looks like a bit of a king of the hill sort of thing. And what we're doing is we're at this stage we're preparing to go to a club that we sort of support.
Yeah.
And try and raise some funds for them to play in a custom scenario.
We spent quite a while because I have a tendency to complicate scenarios. So I come up with a simple idea and then I start mucking around with it and it gets really, really complicated really, really quickly. Yeah. And so I bring it to Adam and he goes, but what about this? And I go, oh crap, yeah, that's easier, isn't it? But it always changes, even when we're talking and I'm explaining what I think I want to get done and he tells me what he thinks is happening and it all just morphs. But I think we've come to a reasonable compromise.
Based on the scenario that we've outlined, it should be pretty good, but still a challenge, a real good challenge.
We started with the idea of point capture and a domination style game. So if you're not familiar with domination, usually in things like FPSs and the third person shooters and all that sort of stuff, they have a game mode where you'll have multiple points on the map. There'll be one near the deployment zone of each team, and there'll be one or two or more out in the middle of the map. And you kind of go there and you stand in the circle and it becomes yours. And while it's yours, it's getting you points, and then you go and try and capture another one. And everybody's trying to capture everybody's points and all that. So that's a domination style game. We're doing this one in the same sort of vein. There's 6 points. We're not forcing a stand in the circle type thing. This is more of, it's in a style of like a pressure plate type deal. Not exactly, but kind of a pressure plate. So you only have to move over it to make it yours. While it's yours in the end zone, in the end phase, you'll get a point for each one that is yours. We're going to play 8 turns, and the one with the most points at the end is the winner. So it's not like a combat scenario or anything like that. It's not a proper law scenario. It's just a game, right? We've got 2 mechs apiece.
Yes.
2,000 points.
Per unit.
Per unit, max. And any skill, anything, it was 3060? Yeah, 3060.
Yeah.
We did it like a couple of days ago and I've already forgotten. 3060. And basically any tech level you want, as long as we got the rules for it. We're kind of stuck with like standard to maybe a little bit experimental, but I haven't got anything that isn't standard here, I don't think. So I think standard's probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's going to be the sort of most common weapon you're going to see that you're going to be using and also facing. So you may as well, you know, if you're looking to learn the game or you want to learn some tricks and things like that, they're the best weapons to practice with. You know?
Yeah. And after a little bit of discussion, we also decided to limit it to 55 tons. That is your maximum weight. So we're talking lights, mediums here. The high end of medium, obviously, but lights and mediums.
I must stress that it was very difficult as a Steiner player to be told that you cannot use your beloved Scout Atlases.
And okay? I actually felt pretty crappy when we decided that because I wasn't going to get to test out the 9Q Awesome. So I think we're even, buddy.
I know.
You could have took a Commando, but no, you've gone Clan on me, you mongrel.
Just to change things up. It's interesting because with the different tech levels and what their battle value works out as, you know, it's interesting to sort of see what we're going to pick on that. And I wanted to pick Clan because I know that it's going to be their stuff's more expensive, so
it's going to be a lot harder.
It's going to be a lot harder. And what's the best of what's left? I guess you could call it, but you know, but in this case, it could be the best of the best for this particular scenario. You know?
They are more expensive, but they're also a higher quality.
Yeah.
Right. They're a much higher quality, and that's what's reflected in the BV. So you don't get as big a unit or as skill to pilot, but you get a better unit for it. So, you know, I mean, I'm just looking at that as a Hellion, right?
Yes.
So we may as well go through what we've got, eh?
Yeah.
So you got it was a Prime?
Hellion Prime.
Prime.
Okay.
So Hellion Prime.
It's a 30-ton Omnimech created by Ice Hellions.
Yes.
Because they love their speed. A lot of their commanders are now using this, probably because it's a bit of a totem mech kind of setup, even though, you know, it's not a quad.
They're the guys that do like first hit is win, right?
When they're doing their trials, yeah. Because imagine those games. That'd be like a Solaris game. That'd be probably one of the closest things that the clans could offer, because you got to keep moving.
It's over very, very quickly.
Well, that's the thing, is it though? With the Ice Hellions, with the way that they train and everything, would it be that simple? Would it be that easy?
No, with the Innisphere it would, because I just load an Act 5 with some precision ammo and you're dead.
Yeah. Although their armor's pretty good, because say like a 30-ton mech, it's still got a decent amount of armor for that weight class. So center torso front is 15 points of armor,
which isn't nothing.
Well,
for a 30-ton mech, that's not nothing, especially a clan one.
So it's 7 walk, 11 run, and it's got mass, so it can run actually at 14 occasional bursts. So
if it wants to.
That's right. Lots of lasers. LRM 10, 3 streak 2s. I mean, it's got adequate heat if you monitor it. Yeah. You know, but I mean, if you just need to just do a big burst of damage,
you'll overheat by a bit, right?
You can, but I mean, the damage output is.
But there is a lot for a 30-ton mech that's under like 2,000 or less. That is a lot of damage that you're dishing out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the second one I had, which I've used in quite a few scenarios already, it's a really nice mech.
It's a solid mech.
Yeah. So this actually appeared in the initial invasion. It's the Stormcrow. The clans call it the Stormcrow. The Innisphere called it the Ryakan. Because that was first appeared in the Draconis Combine, and they had to name it. They had to call it something, and that's what it was. But yeah, the Stormcrow. In this case, it was version C, which is an LB-10X with about 3 tons of ammo, so it's got plenty of choices, plenty of shots. A large pulse and 2 medium pulse.
182 points of armor coverage.
It's So this is the tank of the group, but I mean it still moves at 6'9", so neither of them have jump, which brings me to the point of another reason of why I actually picked these.
Oh, okay.
So apparently the clans don't really value jump jets. Okay, it keeps popping up here and there, and they do, and I'm trying to figure out why. Okay. But I'm looking at it now, it says, okay, so if you add up all the tons or whatever that they've saved there, what have they put it to? Is it more armor? Did they put more weapons on something, do you think? You know, do they value that more?
If you try and fit 6 tons of jump jets onto that thing, it's going to suffer.
Yeah.
And that you're not going to have anywhere near the amount of armor, or you're going to have to drop some weapons, or you're going to have like some of the stuff's going to have to go. And they're about single battles, so being able to leap around the battlefield and evade people isn't as big a deal for them.
No, unless it's to help them get into a position where they still have a bit of cover.
There are still clan mates out there with jump jets.
Of course,
it's just they don't seem to use them as often.
So I said, right, well look, let's pick designs that don't have jump jets, so they would have allocated those resources to something else on the design, and they believe that is better.
So, and they're probably right, because, I don't know, I've got 2 that are like 55 tons and I'm not sure I'm going to survive here.
Well, let's have a look.
I outweigh you by what, like 25 tons?
Yeah, I think so, looking at what you've got.
So I went for one of my absolute favourite mechs. If we were to do, I keep saying if we were going to do the top 5, I've only got one that I really say. I've found a couple since then, but this was the one I was talking about, is the Wraith.
Yes.
He is one that I would try and fit into a battle whenever possible. If you've got 30, 55 level and standard-ish tech, then he is gold. It's a 711-7 with just pulse tech for the TR1 I'm taking. And I can fit a 3.2 pilot into that for under 2,000 BV. I think it was 1,918 or something.
Oh, there you go.
So 3.2 pilot with the PulseTech, that takes it basically down to a 1.2, and we go from there. But I mean, he's got more armor than your Hellion, but way less armor than the Ryakan. So I don't know how well he's going to do. But with the 7 jump, hopefully he'll be hard to hit. I mean, that's a +4 if I go to the full 7.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then I was very, very undecided on the last one, on the second one, because I've got the Komodo, I've got the Hunchback, I got the Kintaro, came up a few times. I quite like some of the variants of the Kintaro. There was a few others that are just, they're good. And like I say, I originally wanted the 9Q Awesome, but we're not doing that anymore. So I got a tanky boy. I got myself a Wolverine. And this is the 7K variant of the Wolverine, which is a Curitan one that's mucked around a little bit. Now, it's got an XL engine, the same as the Wraith, which neither of them I'm particularly happy about having an XL engine because it just leaves you vulnerable to stuff. But you got to take the plus with the minus. Large pulse, small pulse, and medium pulse, and then 2 SRM6s. And he's a 585. And I think that's not too bad. 26 double heatsink dissipation, so 13 doubles.
Yeah.
What was that? 10, 18, 22, 23, 24. So he can move for 2 and still fire everything and not overheat. And my Wraith can bounce and fire either both his medium pulse or his large pulse and not overheat. Be dead on. So that's pretty good. But yeah, we'll see. And I've got a 3.3 pilot in the 7K Wolverine there for under 2,000 BV. He starts at 1,330. So yeah, not quite as good as the Wraith that starts at 1,287, but still not bad.
I don't know. You've got a bit of speed there and maneuverability. It is quite good. Against just like a couple of mechs, you can sort of keep them busy. Maybe even separate them up because you're so fast.
Yeah. Well, that's originally I was going for the small, light, maneuverable thing and the big, heavy thing that defends everything. And that was going to be the way it was going to go. But then I think very sensibly we decided to disallow the heavier stuff and stop at 55 tons. So I've kind of gone for the same sort of thing, but I've had to keep my tank, my Defendy boy, a bit smaller. Yeah. So we'll see how we go.
I think it just got to the point where we figured it out that we could get a Grand Titan with a 4 gunner and 4 pilot for 1,999 BV. So you could have 2 assault mechs, 100-ton mechs that are fairly fast with pulse weapons. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I could get a 9Q for I think it was a 3.3 or a 3.4, something like that, for less than that. And it's like he can just stand here and hit everything basically.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's ridiculous.
And
so
that's boring.
Yeah, it is. It's a boring
really
game.
Boring. So we wanted to encourage a bit of movement, and nothing makes you move faster than not having much armor. You know? That's the theory.
That's the theory. All right, so we're going to run on from here.
Yep.
These are the neutral markers. I've got blue markers. You've got green markers. When you move your mech over a thing, it flips to yours. In the end phase, each one that's yours scores you a point. And we're going to go to 8 turns, and we're going to see who's got the most points at the end of it.
Yep.
Fair?
And feel free to shoot at one another and do whatever little shenanigans you feel necessary to do some little quarterback
Got
to...
a secret plan.
His secret plan, yeah. He knows what he's doing. He's been practicing this on his own, hasn't he? You can tell me. So shall we turn 1?
So turn 1, we are ready to go.